What's up, guys? Elvis here. So, just a real quick update. The sound file shouldn't be too bad on this. I've kind of narrowed it down a little. It's not the program. It's something to do with when I run games. I don't know what the deal is, but like on Diablo, I tried it like on my desktop, and it works fine and all that. But then when I open Diablo, it's get the crackling. So I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can just find a new free recording program to use. But until then. Sorry, I apologize for the sound. So, anyways, I am going to show you guys a quick, the first game I played in Season 5. This is my placement match. We're both bronze players. I'm bronze. I was bronze in Season 4. I have no league, actually, at this moment in this game. But now I'm bronze again. I'm like rank 1 or something bronze. But, because I played 3 games, only 2 of them gave me points because this one is a placement, so it doesn't give you any points. But so he's a bronze player too. We're both Protoss. I'm going to show you a 4-gate, which actually, because of mistakes, turns into a 5-gate, but it was meant to be a 4-gate from the beginning, so I apologize for that. Right away I'm going to tell you guys I'm not that good, so don't expect professional level play. There's going to be a number of mistakes. I'm just going to point out which ones they are, and I'm going to show you how effective a 4-gate is, even when you fail it. Even when you do poorly in lower leagues, it's okay. It's not great. My timings are almost all completely off, with the exception of my very first few that I've pretty much mastered at this point. And my opponent doesn't handle it very correctly either, so that doesn't help. But actually he does handle it correctly, and I'll point out a few of my mistakes and a few things I may try and change in the future just to my build order in general. But so here we go, guys. We're going to start out. I'm actually going to change the volume, sound, voice, sound. Let's go ahead and change the master level down a little bit, except return to game. Okay, and then let's make it a little bit faster. So we're both starting out. I say good luck, have fun, ditto. You should always do that. It's just good sportsmanship. There we go. He's got a 10 pylon, so that was a little bit slow. Mine, I believe, I placed at 9. I'm scouting earlier than he is, so that doesn't help that he was a little bit late on scouting and a little bit late on his pylon. I think he did pylon warp gate almost at the same time. So pylon warp gate, my gas is already up. I get gas at 14 when I do a 4-gate. You can get it at 15 too. It kind of depends on what you want to go for, really. That's his pylon and gas. Cool. I'm going to slow it down to 2 times. Got my cybernetics core. You want to get out that warp gate very fast, as fast as you can. As you'll notice, my chrono boosts are slightly slow because I'm not perfect at it yet. There should only be a few, they should be almost instant. When I go against a Protoss with a 4-gate, is that his? Yeah, that's his. Okay. He's expanding fast, so if he had seen that I was doing a 4-gate, he may have chosen differently. He's not chrono boosting into his warp gate right now. That's not good. That certainly doesn't help. So I'm adding on my additional gateways. But so anyways, when I go against Protoss, I pretty much get 0 stalkers, or 0 zealots, sorry, because stalkers are just so much better against Protoss. He's moving out to get the Zelnaga tower. That's okay, because he's going to see my attack coming, but it doesn't matter because by the time he sees it, it's too late anyways. So I'm upgrading my warp gates, starting to get out my first few units. You want to get a few units before you start heading out. You don't want to just send your units out and then warp them all in there. You should be warping some here before you do it. Can I lower that? Yeah, cool. Okay, and another thing, pylon blocked here. That was my mistake. That happens a lot when I do 4-gates because the stalkers and stuff just warp in so fast, and this is a little bit poor micro by my fault. I wasn't paying attention. I was over here doing something. I think I was adding my workers to my second gas or something. I usually get second gas about 18 supply. I think this time I was a little bit late. Send it down my army, send it on a probe to get a pylon. The pylon probably should have been somewhere up here, to be honest, but I was afraid I didn't know what he had. I hadn't scouted him since earlier on. So I send my forces in. I see 1 photon cannon. I don't see 2. I'm actually going to do just my view from now on. So I just saw 1. I didn't see the second. But that's okay. Even though he has those, it's not enough to defend from this 4-gate. He doesn't have anywhere near enough forces. So this is all from what I can see. I don't see his army. I don't know how much he has. I'm going to poke up in a sec to see, and then I see he doesn't have a lot, so I'm going to keep going. Force field the stalkers out so I can get the cannons down. Pop up my shields. And then this is pretty much the end of his second base. He tries to take it back. I should have just force fielded the ramp, and that was my mistake, although I don't have that many sentries. 4 sentries, one of them almost dead. But usually when I'm against Protoss on a map that has a small ramp like this that can be blocked by 1 force field, I usually like to get up to about 6 to 8 sentries. Is that another sentry? No, that was a stalker, I think. But, oh, 4 sentries. No, 5, sorry. So I did warp in 1 more, I guess. So, this is it. I'm going to take a second base right here. This is where I force field. Force field, force field. There, that was delayed. That was my bad. I could have got some of his stalkers too. But that's okay. My army is much bigger than his by now. I know that because I've seen most of it. Here's some more stalkers, the next round of warp in. This is the end of his second base. There's no way he can take it back at this point. With this many sentries, watch, he sends his forces down. He knows he can't because he keeps backing up, because if I get close enough to just force field this, I'm going to kill half his army. So I'm going to send my probe up here to get a little bit closer warp in. Plus, more supply helps to, or more pylons. And I've already expanded at this point. I'm actually going to go back a little bit to show you when I'm expanding. So, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. So, as you can see, my army's going up here. This is when you should be expanding. I'm expanding right as I'm pushing out. Okay, and it's another good thing to note that I saw his second base. So I know it's okay if I expand. Okay, if he has a second base, there's nothing he's going to have that's going to be able to stop me from expanding, really, unless I lose my huge army, which would be very unfortunate. I'm going to speed it up to skip back to this. Okay, back to this. Now here's where I'm going to slow it down, because this part is my failure, because I want to point this out. So we're both Protoss, so there's no way I'm going to break his... I see he has sentries. There's no way I'm going to break his base. I can't get up that ramp. He can force field my army, I can force field his army. That's how it works. So, I don't have the pylon up here yet. Here we go. Now I'm bringing it. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to starve him, because at this point I'm not skilled enough to know how to do much else, really. And that's my mistake. What I should have done was one of two things. I should have either brought in air units, possibly, or I could have just starved him. This worked out fine anyways. I'll spoiler alert, guys, I win in the end, because I got 2 bases, and I actually expand to a 3rd before he can even get... See, I send up 1 just to see what he's got. And now, as you'll notice, I added on a robotics facility so that I can get a... And then almost instantly, it should be very shortly after, or maybe I did delay it a little bit, I guess, I get a observer so that I can see up here. And as soon as I have the observer up, and see, there it is. There, I see it coming now. And as soon as I have the observer up, he never kills it. He knows I have air units there because I keep shooting him up the thing. So he must know, unless he doesn't know that that's how it works, but I'm assuming he does. So he must know. So he doesn't have observers, or he would have killed mine, okay? So at that point, to get up his base and end the game, I should have just gone Dark Templar. If I had just made a Twilight Council and Dark Shrine, then I could have just sent 2 Dark Templars up there and ended the game in no problem. But I actually make quite a few mistakes before I do. So I keep my army here. I'm not letting him expand. That's not going to happen. And also, as you'll notice, my base is starting to get mined out, which means so is his. So I don't know what his minerals are, and I'm not going to check to cheat or anything. So this is where I start picking off his army. Boom, 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 boom. Start picking them down, picking them down. Now, I also notice he has a lot of immortals. This is my mistake. I keep adding on stalkers, even though he has so many immortals. So this is just unintelligent on my part. Immortals rape stalkers. That's just how it works. However, it's not that bad because I have so much more minerals. I can produce so many more stalkers that it's fine. This is very, again, poor mistake. I lost all my sentries here except for 1. See, and you'll see I warp in more sentries here. These are all stalkers, but then the next round I warp in some sentries. That was dumb of me. If he had actually tried to push out right now, he wouldn't have been able to. So again, another mistake. This is where I try and force the game to end, which I don't need to do. I shouldn't have done this. I noticed that my army's bigger than his, and I make this mistake of trying to force it to end. So you'll notice I'll do a couple more warp-ins. At this point, I've added on a few more gateways, by the way. These ones haven't been converted yet because of my poor macro and multitasking, but, that is what it is. And instead, it's coming up here in a minute. I'll fast forward a little bit. At about 19, I think. 18, 19. Yep. Is this it? This is it, I think. I try and force my way into his base with my whole army. Oh, no. It's here somewhere. Here it is. Oh, there it is, guys. This is bad. This was a bad choice on my part. At this point, it's great that I canceled out these warp gates, and you'll notice that because of his poor macro and multitasking, he doesn't get these back up at all for the rest of the game, because you'll notice the mistake that I make here. I keep warping in here. That's fine to keep doing that. The big problem is that half these stalkers aren't attacking, so I should have backed up, killed all these probes. That would have ended the game. He wouldn't have had any money, so it would have ended the game there. But the other thing is that I tried to break his base. That was not intelligent. I shouldn't have done that. He was almost starved out. There's no point. So, as you'll notice, he kills off my entire army, and I get a lot of his army, not all of it. I warp in one more round of zealots because I'm low on gas. No, it's not because I'm low on gas. I don't remember why I do it, but I don't know. But anyways, so he takes all those out, and actually these zealots die too. I should have sent them home, but again, I lose this pylon, I send him home in a minute, and they do eventually take out these two. But so he's now going to expand to get his second back, his second base. However, a key thing to note is that I've already taken my third, and in a normal game I would have taken it here. This would have been the place to do it. However, since he was forced in his first base, he was starved, he couldn't get out, I knew it was safe to take the gold. Otherwise, this was not an optimal choice. I shouldn't have done this. And by now, my main is mined out, so I'm sending all my probes from there over. And I add on quite a few more gateways, as well as a forge, and I start the upgrades on this momentarily. I'm not sure how much longer. There it is. So, that's good. My supply is not that much higher than his now because of that army I just lost out of unintelligence. I also, a key thing to note is that I actually have too many here. I add on my gas in a second. I start, my new army. I add on my new army. So, again, I go with stalkers and sentries. And another thing to note, even though now he's only down to 1 immortal and doesn't really have any money to make any more, but another thing to note is that he, that's not something you should do against immortals. So, he still has no observers because he's been focusing on units to stay alive, and I can see this by my observer not being killed. In a minute, he's out of options at this point. He knows it. He knows he's out of options. So he's out of options. In a minute, he's going to, here he goes, he's going to take his army and move it across the map. And I saw it with this observer. So if you'll note, I take my army in a minute, and actually I send a probe over to the Zelnaga Tower, so I see it with that too. But yeah, I notice he's going around this side. So here, instantly, I pull my army, and I pull to intercept it. I also warp in a little bit here and a little bit here. Yeah, so again, more stalkers and sentries, though, not the best choice. I focus down the immortal quickly, though, so it's not that bad. After this, he knows he can't fight this army. If he loses that army, it's game over. He doesn't have anything at home. I'm warping in to defend it here. He's done. This is game over. Okay, so a few things to note. This base is not a normal thing to take as your third. I took it because I knew it was safe. I didn't throw the game, but I threw my army back down here. That was very unintelligent. And, he's here. He's on his last stand. He knows he doesn't stand a chance at this point, so he's trying to do what he can. It's not much. And now I've got all this, and I don't know what he's got back home, but I know it's not a lot. I'm actually going to turn it to everyone. Yeah, so he's got his second here, not a single bit of army, not in the slightest. And I actually send my observer to scout it. If I go back to just me, I send my observer to see. I know he's got no army here, so I'm just going to take my 5 stalkers. Doesn't matter how many stalkers I have. He's got nothing. No cannons, no anything. And he actually still has his forge, so he could have put more cannons up. And you notice, actually, as I walk into his base, see? Here it is. He still didn't ever power those again. And that's, his mistake, but all the way, also, he just wasn't all that intelligent. See, here I stopped attacking and all that because he said GG, and I was trying to give him some advice in the future. But, he left the game before I could. So, let's recap real quick. Just going to go through this game super fast. Okay? So, I just want to say, 4-gate, which actually this turned into a 5-gate, as I didn't point out, but I will do during this. The 4-gate is amazing. Like, ever since I learned the 4-gate, I can't tell you how many more games I've won. It's so good at denying that early expansion. It's amazing. He's here scouting, blah, blah, blah. Once it gets to about probably 11 or so, I add on the 5th gate or something. See, so I add on 4. I'm at 4 gates now, and this is when I start. Well, I'm getting a little game lag, but I add on a 5th because I have extra money, because I'm not optimizing. I'm not producing units fast enough, or whatever the reasoning behind it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go 5th gateway, whatever. And another thing to note is pylons. A lot of people I've seen, place one pylon and they'll spread out their pylons so much. You don't want to do that. See, he did that. One pylon, that's, not good. I took out this one pylon and he lost 3 buildings that can't do anything now because they don't have power. You need power. Oh, he actually did have an observer in my base. I never noticed that. When I was watching the replay the first time, I didn't notice that. So he saw everything. He knew what I was doing, and he should have sent this back. I don't know why he didn't send it back. That was so stupid of him. But, I mean, he lost so much more army than he needed to because he didn't send it back. That's so dumb of him. And there I go. See, I shouldn't have tried to break this. If I had just waited and made Dark Templars or anything, really, any air units to come around here and kill off all his probes, or, anything, really, he would have been done. This is so dumb. Why are these all over here? Put them next to your buildings so they can give power. There's no reason to have all these over here. They're not supply depots. It's these little things that make big differences in the end. So, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys know anything, also, another thing, guys, while you're doing the 4 gate, if you trap him in his base like that and can't break in, don't forget to macro. Like, I'm not great at macroing, so I'm not gonna harp on you guys for it, but that's a key thing. You have to keep macroing. Still has this here. I can't believe this. You need to keep macroing, and that's how you win. If you stay on one base too, then you're not getting anything done. You're not doing anything, So you have to expand. I expanded to my 2nd as I was pushing out, which isn't the best thing to do during a 4 gate, but I saw his 2nd, so I knew it was okay. Probably still not a good thing, but it's fine. It worked out. So, if you guys notice anything else that I'm doing wrong majorly, I don't need you to, point out all my poor micro and macro skills and, blah, blah, blah. So, these pylons should have been closer together. One to take that out, and 2 of these cannons are gone. That probably should have been a little bit of a big deal. See, 3 pylons. This pylon. Can I see the power field or no? No, I can't. I can't see the power field. It's not going to show me the power field. That's weird. Okay, well, I thought it would show you the power field, but I guess not. So, anyways, you notice this probably powers all 3 of these. This powers probably both of those, but maybe not that one. I can't entirely tell. And that. Those 2 also power that. Not that the forge is a big deal, but especially since I don't have that many cannons except for down here. And the forge only helps produce cannons. You don't actually need the forge to keep using the cannons you already have. Also, another thing to note, guys, I suck at using my chrono boost, if you note. All three of my things, I forget all about it while I'm, pushing out the 4 gate and all that. And if I had remembered it, I'd have so much more units in this 4 gate. I could chrono boost all my gateways, and now it's not a 4 gate, but you guys know what I mean. And I probably should have teched to Colossus or something. That might have helped. Well, not Colossus because he was going Stalkers, but something else, Maybe, I don't know. But Void Rays might have been nice. Some Phoenixes to take out those Immortals would have been good too. That would have made my Gateway army much more better. If I had used Phoenixes to take out all those gateways, to immobilize them or kill them or whatever, then it would have been, then I could have kept producing Stalkers, no problem. That would have been great, but I didn't. So, in the end, it is what it is. The game, I did end up winning because he was just too far behind at that point. There was nothing he could do. So, if you guys notice anything else that you want to point out, feel free to post in the comments, or you can send me a message if you want. I'd appreciate it either way. So, anyways, guys, Elphus out. I'll probably post another video today since I didn't post one yesterday, and I'll record some others today because on the weekends I don't really do much because I have other things to do. But so, anyways, I'll post another one. Probably not a StarCraft one. Probably I'll post a D3 one. So, Elphus out, guys. See ya.